My name is Ken Long. I happen to be the chairperson of the Adelaide Sustainable Building Network. We have Paul Hendy from TS4 Architects. So everyone, could you please give Paul a nice round of applause, make us feel comfortable.
Got it. Right. Hopefully we're away. Okay, that's me, by the way. In case you're wondering, okay. I think you've got me up here for the comic at the end, haven't you, really? That's why I'm the last one.
Don't give away the...
All right.
Don't give away
I knew there was a reason I was at the end. All right, okay. So, TS4. That wasn't me. I don't think it was. Okay, let's skip on. I'm going to go really quickly here. 2 parts. I've been, for some reason, allocated 2 parts to this. The first one, I'm going to talk about Laneway House, which is open on Sustainable House Day. It took 17 months to build, and we've been talking about this, a few of us, about how buildings changed and how the environment's changed sort of post-COVID. That now would be about 22 months for us. So somewhere along the line, 5 months is just added to the process. And it's a shame, really, but it's one of those, like we've all said about timelines and costs, it's all stacking up. This one, some of you have seen this one before, this is my home. I'm going to just give you a quick summary of the 8 years I've been in there. I didn't think it was 8 years, and yes, Ken, I remember the port night for 10 years ago. Yes, we must do that. I'll talk about power bills briefly and thermal performance. Now, there's just a few shots of the Laneway House, as we call it. The brief. Okay, I'm looking for an energy efficient home, and one that can, the one that doesn't look like the ones next door. I didn't know what he meant by that until I went to have a look. Now, if you live in one of these houses, I do apologise, they're lovely houses, but they're probably not my cup of tea, okay? That's what was next door, and the reason is it's a narrow site. It's unlike Mark's where you had a lot of space. I've got the complete opposite. So it was only 261 square meters. Double garage, 2 bedrooms, living area, maximise the garden area, which the other 2 don't. They basically build out the site as much as possible. Small site, 261 square meters, 9 meter frontage with a double garage. That's an interesting one. So concept. Basically, it's very well oriented to the rear, so from that point of view, it helps from the design. Access is to the south on the bottom there, that's where the boudoir is, and that's the laneway. So there's sort of a few obvious things you do here. Now, again, we were very fortunate we had no large buildings, like St. Jackson with shading. We haven't got anything like that, so we could turn around and we could actually do what we wanted to within reason. So, north aspect, living area, that sort of makes sense. Garage on the southern aspect, because, well, that's where the laneway is, that makes sense as well. There's only like a little 3 meter strip that's left. In fact, by the time you take out sort of council requirements, it's a lot less than that. I dislike long passageways in buildings. It's a personal hate, or pet hate, I suppose, bit of a peeve. They cost money and they're just terrible places to be. So what we did was we started to actually position the 2 things that we knew we couldn't really change, which was the garage and the living areas. And then we looked at, the entrance. Okay, well, what we can actually do there is we can bring something up the side. So maybe that's outside rather than inside. Might work. So we looked at that. You could go through a kitchen into a deck. Well, that gives you an eastern deck then for those sort of nice area, the sort of months of the year where it's warm, but it's not that warm. Get a nice bit of solar sun in the mornings when you're having your coffee. Bathroom, laundry combined. Bedroom. I'm reading this, by the way, because I brought my glasses on. I can never see it. Anyway, that was the floor plan. Okay, so it's quite a simple, compact floor plan, but it maintained a fair bit of garden space. Somewhere in the region, I think, of about 20% of the site from memory. Lounge is quite spacious, dynamic cathedral-style ceiling, so we're up to about 5 meters in our lounge from floor to ceiling. And the reason is for that, what we actually looked at doing was putting one of the bedrooms upstairs and looking down into the space. Client loved that idea. Some wouldn't, because it's not necessarily that private. You're quite connected. But it's a husband and wife, they retired, they love it. Which obviously is what the whole point of this is trying to get a home that you actually love. So this is all about design. There's a bit of thermal stuff in here as well, but you guys already know all this anyway. So it's like preaching to the converted. It's a spacious ensuite, and that's the floor plan. Okay, quite simple. We've got east to west solar on here as well. I'll say that in a second. So we had the entrance, we had the ability there to, we had to do something. Councils don't like garages that are sort of forward of the build line. So what we did, we actually put a fake wall up there using some recycled brick. Thank you. It's a fake wall. You'll see. It looks like it's a nice fake wall. You'll see what I mean in a minute. But we're trying to sort of have a dialogue with the brick that went up there, or the brick that was created in that area. In fact, fact all of Adelaide, a century ago or more. So and you'll see in a minute, I think it works really well. I'm biased, granted. There's a lot of solar gain from the north, which actually, in the end, you'll see what the bills are for the client here. There's basically a high-level natural ventilation running to the top of the building. It also creates a little bit of a suction affair as well, which others have spoken about, and actually helps to draw heat out of the building. I'm going to mention something about earth pipes in a minute, Marty, earth tubes. Just to make you feel at home on this one. I'll completely blow your theory out of the water. Sorry, but anyway. So the house is a 7.8 star energy rated house. Probably could have got more if we tried. 7.8 is not bad. We've moved forward since then. We're actually building typically 8 or beyond. Air change rates, you probably all know what air change rates are. Some of you definitely know what they are. This one is a 3.2. It is not a passive house, okay, which is 0.6, which is phenomenally tight. This is an ordinary build, but as people like you said, Jackson, it requires good quality build, attention to detail, and we have builders, like others have, which will spend that extra few minutes to do the job right. And then we can get a good air change. That's as tight as you want to go, really, unless you want to have forced ventilation in there. You can see the figures on there. I shan't read those out to you. There's a 7 kilowatt battery, 7 kilowatt solar, and a 13.5 kilowatt, I think it's a Tesla battery there. And over a 12-month period, the client has basically a zero bill. In fact, it's in credit, which is, I think, is pretty good. They've got underfloor heating in there for the heat source, and a relatively large cooling system, because our homes do run warm. We have to ventilate them. We know that for a fact because we actually thermally study and monitor and data log several houses. And we're doing that now, actually, on a house, which hopefully I might be able to present to you the final findings, because I don't know what the findings are going to be. It'll be interesting. That's just the streetscape. Now, I'm a firm believer that streetscapes need to have a bit of a rhythm. And I think that has a rhythm. It works for me. It's a modern building amongst other modern buildings which are very typical. And it's a little bit different. Now, you can see the fake wall. Oh, woohoo! Thank you. Okay, good. So this is just some images coming through here. So there's the fake wall there. What it does several things. It provides the client with, or the council with their need to have a projection forward garage. It gives us some shelter to what is basically behind. It's actually really quite a nice little courtyard. And it also gives security as well. There's a gate on there with a camera for the client. So basically anyone who comes through there, they can't get to the house. It's a very secure house from that point of view. And being retired, it really does suit them. There's plenty of, as you can see, there was also plenty of shading as well that's in that particular build. You walk into quite an industrial kitchen. It's got a lot of concrete in there. There's some high pressure galvanized steel tubing holding out the shelves and the likes. That came from my place, I think. You can see the stairway, you can see the northern window that's very high. They're automated windows. There's a large bedroom upstairs. Okay, so it's a nice compact house. Now I'll just pop onto mine very quickly. How am I doing for time, Ken? I want the Frito Frog. Okay, good. Okay, so it's a split personality. So I've got Corte on one side and I've got Max Line on the other side. Just something a bit different. You can't do that, I was told. Well, it is. Completed in 2016. It's an ongoing project. My wife would agree that it's still not completed yet. I must get around to it, but clients sort of come first. Everybody else comes second, unfortunately. Yeah, double fronted cottage built in 1904, 109-ish square metres with a lean-to on the back. So basically an 8x8 box thereabouts with a lean-to. The lean-to was ferociously hot in the summer and absolutely appalling in the winter. It had glass block wall to it, and you could actually, there was no grouting in the glass blocks, just put your fingers through. So it's just a horrible place, which we had to do something with, and we did. So we converted it to the only 3-storey house in Beale Park. It's actually got a basement, which we sleep in, and it's a beautiful space to be in. It varies between 18.5 and about 21.5 degrees all year, no heating and cooling. It's got a lot of reflective light, and I often say people don't believe me until they see it. It's actually brighter than the front room of our house. I can read a newspaper in there during the day. In fact, today we were changing to come out, and it was 4:30, bit grey outside, not particularly bright, no lights on. But it's the basement. So basements don't have to be dark, dingy, horrible places. It's just a lovely place. It's a nice little sanctuary. Love it. Biased again, I'm sorry. 8 years thermal history and energy use of that. Right, here we go. I'll give you a very quick crash course on what this is. That's the solid mass that's in the old part of the house. There's a reason for telling you that. That's the lightweight. Now, you'll see there's a little red blob down there as well on the bottom of the after. Lower down, that's the basement, just to give you an outline of roughly where the basement is. Okay? It's a little bit smaller than the footprint. Mainly because I've got a laneway one side and a neighbour the other side, and I didn't want either falling in when I'm digging a hole. So we kept it in a little bit. It's an all-electric home, has been since we basically moved in. The gas came out. They came, as Jonathan was saying, they came with a, I think we had two diggers, a truck, 5 guys. They were going to dig the road up. I only wanted it capped. And when I said that, they were, oh, okay, mate, and off they went. And then the guy came past, and a couple of days later, and capped it, and I didn't pay a thing. So go figure. Hot water is by a heat pump, and it's a split unit. We use those quite often because it means we can put the main water storage unit inside the house, which means we can actually keep it very close to the services. And I think the longest runoff there is about 4 meters for hot water. So we keep it very tight. All our houses, that's one of the considerations. The AC, so it's an old Fujitsu 6.4 kilowatt. It's one that came out of the existing house, so I've reused it. When it was in the existing house, we've got one of the rooms is 4 by 3 meters with a 3 meter ceiling height, and it couldn't keep it cool in the summer, and it couldn't keep it hot in winter. Now, one of those units is in an area which is 7.5 meters square with a 5.5 meter ridge, and we'll keep it to 25 degrees, which I'm happy with. I can understand some people aren't, on the hottest of days. Okay, which we don't use that often actually because we naturally ventilate. Now, this is an interesting one, and guys who sell split units are going to go, but it's taken me only 2 years to figure this one out. I changed the split unit in the unit. The other one died for the hot water. We were using 6.5 kilowatts a day, of which 3.5 were basically in the evening. The rest of it was being supplied by our solar, which is not a large system, no battery. What we did used to do was, what we still do, is everything is run during the day. So if we can shift the washing machine, the dishwasher, anything we can do during the day, we do. Okay, causes some bottlenecks sometimes, but anyway, it works 95% of the time. We're now using 9 kilowatts, and a lot of that is during the day. Now my wife runs daycare from home, so there's windows left open and doors left open in the summer, and heat's coming in, and vice versa. There's cold's going. Anyway, it's chaos. But that aside, I've realised I haven't set the new heat pump, so that in respect of how many degrees I might have, I'm still not that smart. I haven't turned around and changed it to actually come on during the day, which the old one did. So it comes on when we get the showers, which are at night. Yeah, and then it kicks in at maybe 2 in the morning and just consumes good power. So that's my oversight. And I'm going to change that. I'm going to see what happens. I think I'm going to make some savings. It's really annoying. That's what it actually uses when it's running. I've been measuring it. It uses between 1.8 and 2.1 kilowatts, depending on how much it's got to charge up. Okay, each day. Which will equal out quite nicely what I've got. I'm losing. And the solar paid for it in 23 months. Paid for itself. Okay. Now, thermal observations. This is the mass comment here. And we all know about mass. Certainly, if you go to university, I teach it as well, so you'll have learned it for sure. At 20 degrees humidity, 20 degrees temperature, 48 degrees humidity, the thermally massed cottage, which was a stone walls, brick internal, always feels colder than exactly the same humidity within 2% and exactly the same temperature to the new house. Okay, so the old building is sucking energy away from you. The new building is reflecting it back at you. And there is a huge difference between those two, the two fields, how they generate. There's a mix between the two that we try to aim for. You can see that some winter, I've said 19, it was actually 18.5 in the basement, and we get 25 in the mezzanine floor. If we go away for a weekend, we leave the place locked up, we actually leave the high level windows open. What will happen is it will basically generate heat inside. It'll get warmer and warmer. Eventually it will meet the temperature outside. I haven't also put the northern windows shade in, so that's my fault as well. Something else I need to do. But otherwise, it performs very well. I expect it to perform much better when the shade is in, or when the shade is fitted. Combustion heater is an interesting one. It's a lot of people go, you're burning logs.
Got to land the plane.
Sorry?
Got to land the plane.
Got to land the plane. I'll be coming in. Okay. I can't talk any quicker.
You got it.
Can I get a few? It's not my birthday. If I got that, can I get a few hours? Minutes?
No, not hours.
No, it's minutes. Okay, minutes of it. Right. For the jacket. Okay. I'll just leave the jacket here, actually. How are you? Right, so it's 84% efficient. It's a very good log burner, okay, or combustion heater. We only use 160 kilos. I know that's a Bunnings by the 20 kilo bag, so I know exactly what I use. We burn approximately 4 kilos a night, okay, and that's all we do. We use about 40, maybe 50 nights during the winter months. And a lot of it really is because we're both from Northern Europe and we like a fire, we like a heat, I guess. Radiant heat's beautiful. That's just some interesting figures. We generate 24 grams per kilo burnt of biofuels. Okay, 0.24 grams, I should say. Approximately 1.8 kilos of CO2, which is about like driving 10 to 12 kilometers in a car, your typical Australian car. Okay, just to put it in context. So maybe log burners are not, no, they're not that bad. No, maybe, I don't know. Final thought. Okay, you'll like this bit. This is worth me staying here. Okay, I hope. Okay, 7.5 tons of carbon per PA. That's what we create as a family. And I've gone to 5 different websites. I've done one recently, 3 in Australia, now 3 in Europe, scattered about the place, or 2 in Europe, 1 in America, trying to work out what we use. I've got varying figures from about 8.5 to 3.5. Okay, so I've gone from 7.75. I thought that was about the figure. All right. Now, your figures may well be different. It all depends how you live. Now, this is a quote that I found this morning. It's quite interesting. Personally, I know I have a high carbon footprint. This is not me, this is somebody saying it. I am taking several steps to reduce my emissions and offset the ones I can't eliminate. When I fly, I buy a low carbon sustainable air fuel that's made from alternative to fossil fuels. I've installed solar panels on my houses, on my homes, I should say, and drive an electric vehicle. Awesome. Okay, I thought this is great, this is good. That's how much their super yacht uses in 1 year. Okay, now that means I've got to be around for 922 years, I think I did the sums. So I think I'll leave you with that as a thought, because we're all trying to reduce small amounts of footprint, and we're all struggling, and we're all, we're making an impact. But that really, well, there's either got to be 900 people like me around the place, and we don't want that, or it's this period of time, we can't do it alone. So we need a bit more input from government and from people who use this. I shan't tell you who that gentleman is, but they're a well-known individual. Now I'm going to leave you with this better work. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much.